Well,
I'm scared.
Ooh, I like
I
that.
know. Well, ladies, things have been happening on Twitter today. Namely, in the name of She-Hulk, the actress who plays the character Titania, Jamila Jamil, I think that's her name.
Jamila Jamil, yeah.
Jamila Jamil. She came out and she made a Twitter thread that was a very interesting thread. It got a lot of engagement from several people, including myself. I think Steph went in on this.
Yeah, I did today too.
Did you?
Yep.
Look at y'all just all going on in there, huh?
We're synced, ladies.
We are synced.
Oh, what
This
is
true?
Oh,
So this was the thread. Mandy, did you see this today?
no, I didn't. No, I missed this.
So she's been putting out a bunch of tweets. She actually like changed her profile name to Titania, which, you know what, I'm not gonna hate on that. I think it's kind of cute that she just kind of like went in on the, the character, and she was just like, you know what, I'm gonna tweet out as the character. And I thought it was funny. Earlier she tweeted out this other tweet. Actually, let me go back to that one, where she was kind of like eating fries as the character. So she's been doing a lot of stuff like that. And it was cute. Like, I was like, okay, this is cute. Like, she's owning that she's that character and she's having fun with it. There's nothing wrong with that. There she is. She says, waiting for the final episode of She-Hulk. Like,
and that's pretty much where it started. Where that whole thing started.
Yeah, this is where it started. I commented on here and I was like, girl, I don't know what you're talking about, because that show, like, nothing has happened on this show.
Nothing.
Like, I've watched basically all the episodes. I think there's 6 episodes. Is it 7? Seven. Wait, is the last one the therapy episode?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Founding into Comics had the most epic title for their review for that. It says She-Hulk Attorney at Law episode 7 review. Jennifer gets ghosted by a man baby, goes to therapy. It's like that's pretty accurate. And it's like in what universe would you think, oh, this is what Marvel is going to turn into the MCU? We're going to get TV shows and that's a whole episode. It's just ghosted therapy. Oh, okay.
Now, let me ask you this, Mandy. Have you seen She-Hulk? Have you been watching
hell no!
it?
You know I ain't gonna watch that shit. Hell no,
girl.
Good for you.
Yeah, good for you. I didn't.
You're preserving your sanity. Is what you're doing.
It is. Well, I've given up on them. You know what I mean? Like Disney, Marvel, DC. I've pretty much given up on all of them. My problem with this is, look at how sensually she's eating these French fries. McDonald's French fries suck ass right now.
They do suck now. No, but I gotta say, Mandy's got more important things to do with her time than watch She-Hulk, like get groped at the haunted
That's
house.
right. Sure. That's right. I'm planning for the best way to get groped. You know, I'm plotting. You know.
No, I like how she's eating the fries like as her character, as Titania.
Right.
Which is fine. I can get with that. You know, I think that like her character in She-Hulk is pretty much a lot of things that like the feminists stand against, which is like youth, beauty, things like that. And so she's kind of like the mean girl, like in high school that they didn't like.
Bitch. Yeah.
So I could stand behind that. Like it's totally fine. But when she tweeted out that stuff, it just started just a cascade of just going downhill from one person. An avalanche. Thank you. It started an avalanche of like just downhill. Focus on, some positivity, but most negativity. And I feel like, is she doing this on purpose? Because the central villain in She-Hulk is like internet trolls. It's toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like that's the main villain for She-Hulk is toxic masculinity. So I'm like, is she doing this on purpose so they can get like an article written like, oh, see, it's true.
Yeah, that's also that's a fair point. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because that's also one thing I said in my video today was that they basically made the main bad guy that they focus on were those those internet quote incels types, but they weren't. It's what they call incels, not actually incels. What they're really, who they're really targeting with this is like quartering, critical drinker, neurotic, you know, the FNT crew, all that. That's who they're trying to paint out as the villains. And it's like, how butthurt you got to be if you're going to let them affect you that much to where they're basically the villain in your entire show. Like, who's really winning here?
Yeah, and it's interesting that you bring that up, Melanie, because when I responded to her, I basically told her, hey, like, because she was like, let me pull that up, because she basically was like, hey, if you you know, I'm open to criticism. She was saying, I'm open to criticism. And I was like, well, if you're really open to criticism, maybe watch some of our videos. And I sent her the critical drinker episode that you and I were on. And I told her, like, I was like, maybe watch, you know, some of us ladies talking about this. And specifically, I pinpointed it to the point where you were talking about woke entertainment.
Right.
So if she watched it, she watched you go off, and it's pretty funny. Let me just pull that up, because
that's funny.
Yeah. And she responded to that thread, but she didn't respond to me. She responded to someone on the thread. So let me pull that up here. Okay, here it is.
And Steph J is throwing you straight up under the bus, saying that like you just love this show. You see him saying that,
Jay, right? And Epic Mike watch She-Hulk and we review it together. It's fun time.
So this is the.
You don't sound too convinced there, Steph.
No, I didn't believe that for a second.
She wants to.
It's fun time.
She's like, I just can't. I don't like the show. I do not like the show. I like that, you know, there are people out there that find entertainment in it. That's great. I'm not one of them. I just can't.
I'm the same way. And so I wrote, if you really want this, because so she said, actually, I really want to hear and engage with critics so I can learn. I value Marvel fans, but I can't hear them when they're screaming, and when people are randomly rude and personal, it brings up my defense and nothing productive happens. If you want me to hear you, be humane. So I said, if you really want this, please watch some of us talk about the show. We want good stories free of agenda, which is not something Marvel has been putting out recently. It's not like you're writing it, but let's be real, the writing is subpar. And that's where I quote, I put the video. And so somebody replied this, and they said earlier, dude, who cares if our show is absolute trash? A few hours later, I value Marvel fans. Okay, Jamila, sure. And so she responded and said, I said, who cares about a second season, as I'm grateful enough, not about the quality of the show. I like the show. And I said, well, Jamila, I think a lot of the crew and people who aren't paid as much as you would probably care to get a second season. It's just an odd thing to say that you don't care about a second season of the show you're claiming to love so much. So that's where like it left with me. Now, Stephanie has had another kind of exchange with her. So Stephanie, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I want to actually just like go over some of her tweets, and I would share my screen, but I have a bunch of tabs open. I'm just going to read you some of like what she said. Okay. So like it started off with her like eating, hold on here. I'll share this. Let's see if I can actually, is it this one? Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
All right. So it started with this one, right? Who's waiting? You know, because she's just like waiting for a final season. And she just put, LOL, why are so many men upset? Are y'all okay? So like right off the bat, you know, because their main villain in She-Hulk is going to be toxic masculinity. It's going to be a bunch of men that they showed in, you know, the beginning of one of, I think it's like episode 2 or something, like She-Hulk. We don't want a She-Hulk. They took away Hulk and made her a girl, you know, and then they have, oh God, Intelligentsia. Is that what it's called? The website?
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's it. Yeah.
Is it called Intelligentsia? I can't remember.
Something
but
it's
like a 4chan Reddit type of group that, you know, it goes from like making fun of She-Hulk to memes to we want to murder She-Hulk. You know, that's
yeah, it's like their 4chan or
Yeah. The one man that like that wants to spend time with Jen is really in it to just get something from her, like her blood. So, really she can't trust anybody. She can't trust no man. I'm actually like wondering if it's going to be every single man that she's ever come in contact with, because if she went to therapy with Abomination, why did they want to get her in like that sweat lodge, whatever it's called? What is it? A yurt?
A
yurt?
The yurt. Yeah. Why do they want to get her in there? Is it going to be like the Abominations behind this? Did her boss hire her to be the main lawyer, so he could get her near Abomination? Like, seriously, I'm wondering if it's just like all men are evil around Jen
and or useless. Now, real quick, let me update Mandy because Mandy's not watching the show, so I want you to know, Mandy, what exactly is going on with the show.
Okay.
So first episode, basically, she's made into She-Hulk by Jennifer Walters is made into She-Hulk by basically rescuing the actual Hulk, her cousin, out of a car crash. And in the process of doing so, she gets the Hulk's blood, dropped onto her cut arm, and that's how she turns into She-Hulk. Okay, so she's the one rescuing the Hulk before she was She-Hulk. Okay, so as a human being, like she literally like lifts a freaking car door off.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Complete sense.
Yeah, all that happened before she was even She-Hulk. She's able to tear the car door off, drag Bruce Banner dead weight out of the car. It
was a whole thing. So then after that, she turns into She-Hulk, but then she doesn't really know what's going on. She goes to a bar. She somehow ends up in the bathroom, and she looks like kind of like a rape victim. A bunch of women try to help her by dressing her up like a hooker and sending her outside and by herself and then leaving her alone. Sorry, what was that, Steph?
Nobody calls 911.
No.
She's a victim of domestic abuse.
No one.
They just dress her up and send her off.
So they dressed her up like a hooker and put her on the street?
Yeah. So after that, fast forward to, so she goes to this place with the Hulk. The Hulk kind of like mentors her a little bit and tells her what's the deal with being a Hulk and stuff like that. But she realizes that she can be the Hulk better than the Hulk. And the fact that she can control the transformation between Jennifer Walters and the Hulk without feeling anger. And basically, like, anger has nothing to do with it.
Right. It's not driven by emotion.
No.
Gotcha. Okay.
She just has full control of herself, so she can go back and forth. So
you know how they show Bruce and Hulk as two separate entities in the MCU?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not her.
Yeah.
Oh,
she's Jen. Both.
Oh, look at this bad bitch. All right, I'm with y'all. Okay.
So then she goes back to her life as Jennifer Walters, and then she gets fired because she actually, Stephanie, do you remember what exactly happened? Because I don't.
They can never have an impartial jury if she's representing. She's too much of a distraction.
Right. And she got into a fight with this bitch in the Titania. In the court case, she was representing as herself as Jennifer Walters, but but this chick like just barged in, and you've seen this from the trailer if you ever watched the trailer. Yeah. She like barges in, and then She-Hulk turns into She-Hulk and actually takes her out. And so Titania gets mad at her and later on tries to steal the name She-Hulk from her. And like
she copyrights the name She-Hulk,
and
she for like her fragrance brand or something.
Yeah,
this is the actual storyline that make y'all sit through.
Yeah.
The shows are literally about nothing. Like there's an episode where like she tries to do Tinder.
Yeah.
No, there is not.
Yeah.
You are shitting me.
Yeah, there's an episode where she tries to do Tinder. That actually ties into another episode, the episode where her name gets copyrighted.
Yeah, and then that terrible. Same episode, they like put in Wong, and Wong ends up like going out with this fucking slutty chick that's like a total.
She's an alcoholic.
Yeah. Like a complete train wreck, and then it ends up being a train wreck with Wong, and I'm like, the fuck is happening to this show?
Wong is like this couch potato who binges television shows when he's not I don't know, saving or protecting. Isn't he the Sorcerer Supreme right now?
Yes, he is.
Supposed to be protecting our reality, but he's just like laying down on the couch binging The Sopranos.
Yeah, with this like slutty chick. And then so fast forward to like basically the last episode, she has to go to therapy because this guy ghosts her. Like that's basically the rundown.
She has sex with this guy. Or no. She goes out on 3 dates with this guy.
Right.
After meeting him at a wedding. And on the third date, they don't make love because ew.
Yeah, that's what she's like, ew, no, not make love.
Yeah, we didn't make love. Ew. They don't make love.
Yeah.
Ew, it's gross.
So what, she's like Christian Grey? Like I don't make love. I fuck hard. I mean, like that's what she's going with.
Pretty much, yeah. Like they make sure to like tell you, like there's a wedding episode where they really have no value in marriage because they pretty much have no groom in the episode to the point where they literally call her best friend's groom, like they just he has no name.
It's true.
That episode, that the wedding, the wedding aspect is like trashed on. Meanwhile, they have divorce in the exact same episode, and they make divorce seem like the best thing ever. Like people end up like, oh, I'm so happy, yay, I'm getting what I want in the divorce. It's just terrible.
Yeah, it's awful. It's so backwards.
Oh, and meanwhile, she also her weirdo friends try and hunt down this like costume designer, like a superhero costume designer. And find out that this like super flaming gay guy who's apparently the costume designer for all the superhero, the Marvel and the rest of it, we haven't known until now. He shows up and he's like, fine, I'll make your costume. But to this moment, we still haven't seen the costume they made. And basically, other than the first 2 episodes, every single episode has teased Daredevil showing up at some point, but he has not as of yet shown up. So that's where we're at with She-Hulk.
This sounds more like a train wreck than I even thought it was going to be.
It's bad, Mandy.
I mean, because the only thing I've seen of it is I saw the trailer when it first dropped. And then I saw a conversation she was having with Bruce about, basically she was saying, I don't care what you've been through. Everything's been worse on me. And like literally comparing.
When I'm catcalled in the street.
Yes. That whole thing. And I'm like, nope, on this. I don't think I'm going to be watching this, Jim. Yeah, I think I did right by choosing not to watch it. This sounds like an absolute fucking train wreck.
Also, the hypocrisy is just so real with that last episode with the whole therapy and stuff, because like if you look at her actual Tinder profile that she made, she said something along the lines of, I want a man with a sturdy mattress and a strong back. She's making it sound like this. And whenever she was on the date with the one guy that she was really attracted to and she hooked up with, she treated him like he was a piece of meat. He was trying to get to know her more, and all she wanted was just to get him in the bedroom. And then after he left, she's just like, oh, okay, whatever. And so it just is so jarring to go see her portrayed that way. And then in this episode to see her all upset about being ghosted after that guy slept with her. And it's just like, isn't that kind of already what you were looking for on Tinder and stuff?
I mean, isn't that kind of what Tinder is for
right, that's already what she seemed by her description, by being on Tinder, all that. It seemed like that's what she was looking for. And so it's just like, it's just
especially since she's just like, ew, we don't make love, like we slept together.
That I hated that line.
It's
I feel like that was egregious. It was so bad.
And by the way, Mandy, the people she goes to therapy with, the therapy is led by Abomination, and it's a bunch of like D-list Marvel heroes that are not heroes, villains. They're
villains are giving our hero therapy, and she's appreciating it.
Oh my God!
The villains are giving her therapy, and it's like, I mean, it's just the shit that they make up.
Thank you, yay! The whole episode, Mandy, is her trying to find a signal because she's literally staring at her phone, waiting for this guy to text her back.
Yeah,
like there's this part in the episode where she's eating cereal, staring at her phone like a crazy person, and it's just like, holy shit.
I mean, if you're gonna give away the milk, no one's gonna buy the cow. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
She's slutting it up on Tinder. Don't expect to slut it up on Tinder and the guy to like bring you home to mom and dad. You met on Tinder, you know. I mean, it's a hookup site, you know.
Yeah, and it's so funny because like even her best friend doesn't even help, because she's like waiting for this guy to text back, right? And her best friend is like, oh my gosh, don't worry, just push past the first 12 hours. You're gonna feel icky, but don't worry, you'll get past it.
Oh my god, she's got like the worst advice.
Yes,
like, dude,
like don't worry, you're gonna feel icky after the first 12 hours of sleeping with someone, but you can do this. Just push past it.
Like, I'm gonna ask you a question that I already know the answer to. I just want to make sure this was written by fucking women, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it
okay.
was. And directed by women. And directed by women.
Of course it was. Yeah.
And I mean, now having said all of this, going back to this tweet here, and Titania doesn't even have that big of a part, like in my opinion. Like, it's like
she doesn't.
It's just been like what, like maybe 20 minutes that we've seen her, like fully, like in all the episodes, like accumulation of 20 minutes. And so it's kind of cute that she's trying to hype up the show, even though she's not really that involved. So
I just think it's so funny how she just got so upset. All he said was, who's waiting, with the laughing emoji.
Yeah. And then she goes on to basically start talking to all the dudes. Like, if she could tell that it was a dude, she would be responding to them. And usually she was like, oh, gee, like, we're not, we're exploring these toxic themes that you guys are talking about in the show. Or are you upset because we're calling you toxic in the show? Like,
right. So she says, hold on. She says literally the exact guys Jess wrote into our show. Amazing, perfection, because she's replying back to bros deciding what she did and did not do in their own head and getting mad about it. And so it's so funny because, like, a lot of times, Ryan, Gary, Jeremy, Drinker, Molly, they'll all say, like, this show is attacking, like, the audience. They're attacking men. Yeah. And the She-Hulk stans will be like, no, they're not. It's just like a made-up thing. Oh my gosh, they're getting angry because they think that they're talking about them. And this, she actually, like, admits it, because she's like, literally the exact guys Jess wrote into our show. Amazing, perfection. It's oh no, I just mean it's a cartoonish parody. And from a modern feminist point of view, that's all. Because they're saying, like, yeah, you are attacking guys. Like, this is the same thing. You're literally confirming it for us. And she pretty much is.
Yeah,
she's confirming it.
Also, like, why? I don't understand why she even made that tweet saying, I want to hear the criticism. I want to hear you guys out so I can understand you. Like, what difference is she even gonna make? She didn't write the show. She didn't direct the show. What is she trying to accomplish with all this? Is the big question here.
That is a good question.
I think that I think that they are so in their little Hollywood bubble. Yeah. Right? They're in there, but it's kind of like Rings of Power, why they're so fucking shocked that people don't like the show. They think that, like, this show is great. The show is amazing. It's empowering. Women are going to love it. It's for the Marvel fan base. It's so virtuous, and we're covering and checking all the boxes. How could people not like this? How could people not love this? So they're shocked when people actually give them criticism. They're like, no, this is the number one show. Like, right now, when it's not, they just don't believe it. Because,
what was she even saying? It's number one in? Like, it was some random thing.
That was just like a specific app. A specific, like, people who use a specific app. It wasn't, it's just very skewed, inaccurate data.
It's kind of like their handlers give them it, like, to boost their ego. Look, you're number one.
Right.
But they're leaving out a whole lot of other stuff.
Yeah. Do you have a screenshot of that, Steph, of the one that she said that she's, or, like, do you have the tweet?
I know exactly where she got it from. Hold on.
What was that pose? What is it? What is this with her? Like, what is she? What is that?
That's the character. That's the character. So it's like, I don't mind any of this, Mandy, because this is her character. She's a total bitch, and she's just like a really weird, like, just full on out there character. So she's just very exaggerated and caricature.
To me, she looks like she's about to go out in the woods and squat and take a piss because of how she's standing.
She's a superhero influencer. That's exactly what her character is. She's an influencer. She took her superhero powers and became an influencer. So that's what, but she put this post out. She put this post out after she started getting so much hate because you know, she started like, all the men are upset. Why are y'all men upset? And she came out this one fan saying like, you'll never be remembered for anything. And so people were like, holy shit. And then she came out with another post that said like, whatever, y'all don't like it, I don't care. I already got paid. I already got my paper.
Yeah,
you know? So
she
that's when people were like, holy fucking shit. Well, what is wrong with you?
And I kind of have mixed feelings on that actual part, because as actors, that's their job. They got pickup jobs. They can't count on every show they make to be a banger. And so it's one thing for her to think that, well, okay, I did my job. I got paid. The show wasn't that great. That's a bummer, but oh well, that I did my job. But to actually say it, that's kind of making a dig at your employer, first of all. So I don't understand the logic there. And what really bothered me more than anything is in that tweet, she was replying to a specific guy, and she's like, what are you doing with your life? And it's like, you didn't have to make the dig. You could have taken the high road already. But she didn't in this case.
Oh my God.
So she replied to someone telling her, this is in the thread to Jeremy. Someone replied to her saying, the writing is terrible, but I still like the show. I just hate how they portrayed like 90% of the guys and most of the women too. I'll give you that, like assholes. Episode 7 was actually a breath of fresh air, where not every guy was the worst. Well, we'll see, because I'm pretty sure that they're all villains. They're all villains, and I'm pretty sure that it's gonna come out that like they had an evil plan.
And even though they weren't the worst, they were complete morons. Yeah. So that's like either the guys are portrayed as the absolute worst or complete fools.
Well, I mean, that's what they've been doing, though.
Yeah.
That's all of Hollywood. They've been doing that for years now. I mean, you would just think by this point, like they would have like flipped the script and changed it up and doing something new. But they really had their foot dug into this because they haven't changed anything.
So again, her taking a dig and proving that yes, they are in fact targeting, you know, if you want to say like they're targeting YouTubers, but they're targeting like all of the MCU fans that aren't happy with the direction. She comes back at them and says, not every guy is the worst, but there's way too many men that have chosen to speak to and about women on our show. And it makes a strong case that we didn't exaggerate as much as first presumed.
No, men have every right to criticize what women do. Exactly. And I don't know where, I mean, okay, if this is all like against misogyny, who is the twerking for? Like what audience were they adding that for? If this is not for like
we got the same thing, Steph.
And stuff. Who is the twerking for?
It's confusing,
right? It makes no sense, Mandy. None of it makes any freaking sense.
I think
this is true.
That.
I think it's all like that's why a lot of people say this is like a self-insert, because like writers and the creators of the show are kind of like basically like making a story out of their own life, like their single life in Los Angeles and what they would do if they have a freaking, you know, if they have Megan Thee Stallion as a client, that they'll start twerking with her or whatever. Like it's just like all their real life projections that they put onto the show, which is kind of very